Hi, Rabbi Charlie.
How are you doing, Hilary?
I'm well. And welcome back to Winston-Salem.
It's good to be here.
Well, good. We're glad to have you back. And this is our first, and we hope of many more to come, chats with Rabbi Charlie. So before we start, I've just got to ask you, because the way you're sitting, I can't help but notice these socks. They're not traditional rabbi socks. Can you tell us about your socks?
Absolutely. These are chameleons. I have sloths for Friday night, or Saturday. Either way, they're very Shabbat-y because, sloths slow down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've got goats. I've got all different kinds of socks because I learned that according to at least one of my congregants back in Colleyville, that it was an okay thing to wear any kind of socks with any kind of suit. And so I don't know if that's actually true, but I've been embracing that. And so I really enjoy different kinds of socks. I am kind of picky about which ones. My kids got one for me about bad dad jokes. And I don't feel that I ever tell any bad dad jokes. I tell good dad jokes. And so I don't usually wear those, but I really do enjoy different kinds of socks.
So, are they all animals or?
Most of them are animals. I do have, I got some Hanukkah socks. I'm trying to think if they're the only Jewish ones. I think I either have an oive, I think I have an oive also.
Well, I like the socks, and we'll look forward to your repertoire sharing them with us.
Absolutely.
And I like the sloth analogy. Slow down.
Got to slow down.
Yeah. Well, you haven't slowed down. You've had quite a year.
It has been really, really busy.
Tell us about it.
So, in the aftermath of the incident at CBI, the first few weeks were a whirlwind, an absolute whirlwind. And then people started asking if I would come and talk or present or those kinds of things. And it was and has been, it's been really, really interesting. It's not something that I was ever expecting. But managing the congregation, coming to Temple Emanuel, and working through this transition, which has been incredible. And then having the opportunity to present at the FPI, Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, where I was ordained as a rabbi. They gave me an award, the Shirut La'am Award, which was an award in service to the Jewish people. And I was also the graduation speaker. It was incredible. It was a really beautiful moment. And so it has been hectic for me. It's been hectic for the family. And at the same time, there's a lot of blessings that have come along with all of it. And the biggest blessing, of course, is just that I actually get to be here. Because on the one hand, I'm alive to do it. On the other hand, the congregation, Temple Emanuel, was so kind and so compassionate and so patient to allow me to come and interview when I wasn't able to right after the incident, and to be able to meet everyone and greet everyone and be with everyone is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, we're looking forward to having you here on the 1st of July. Tell us about your impressions of Winston-Salem as you've looked at neighborhoods and picturing yourself making a home here.
Everything is beautiful. I mean, right now, like when we came and I did my interview in February, everything was a little bit bare.
Right. Everything
is so green and so lush. And nature is something that I really appreciate. It's actually something that my entire family appreciates. The idea of coming out and coming and experiencing some of the parks, going to some of the hiking trails, are something that we're really looking forward to. And all of the neighborhoods that we have been have just been gorgeous. It's a beautiful place to live. And so we have to learn a lot more, right? It's still so very new. We haven't spent, none of us have actually spent much time in North Carolina before.
Right.
And so I'm just really, really excited to really get to know the community.
Well, our community is excited to get to know you as well. So tell us what we can do, our role, to prepare for your arrival on the 1st of July.
I guess a few things that would really help. Number one is a little bit of patience. I'm probably going to call somebody by the wrong name. It may take me a few times to get to know everyone. And so a little bit of patience will help. Participation would be fantastic, because the more I get a chance to see everybody, the more I'll get a chance to hear their stories, get to know their names and faces. So participation, because there's a stereotype that in the summertime, everybody's on vacation, so nobody really comes to shul. And it would be great to see everybody. I know that we're trying to plan different activities, and I'm really looking forward to that opportunity. So patience is a good one. Participation is a good one. And it doesn't start with P, but a willingness to share, a willingness to be open, a willingness to understand that I am so excited to be here. And while it'll take me a little bit of time to get acclimated, the more that y'all are willing to share with me, the easier it is for me to really get to know the community.
Well, you've already got the y'all down. So that's a good thing.
Now
you have to say hey instead of hi.
Hey instead of hi. Okay.
I learned that when I moved here.
Well, I want you to know that y'all came when I was still up in Michigan. And I loved saying y'all because back then it was gender neutral. And so it really encompassed everybody. So I've been saying y'all for a long time. I also have a tendency to say swell, which may not be the most common, but that's not an uncommon thing for me.
Swell. Well, that's you. Well, tell us what you're most excited about.
I think that more than anything else, I'm excited to get to know everyone, because the heart of a community, the one thing that every community needs, it doesn't matter what kind of community it is, that every community needs people. Right? It's not a community without people. And so I am most excited to get to know people, because I can teach Torah, I can teach about Judaism, we can pray together. And I have no issues, and I've had the experience where I'm just praying with a handful of people. It tends to be a lot better, right? A lot nicer when there's more of us. And that's where the participation comes in. But it's also a different experience when I'm praying with not strangers, but people that I know, and I can look out at the congregation, and I can know your story. And I can understand that this prayer or this moment might be a little bit challenging because of something that you're going through. Or I can maybe watch for that smile because this prayer is coming up, because you told me that this is so meaningful to you for a lot of different reasons, and that it always makes you smile. When I can look out at a congregation and have it be my congregation, I know it's going to take time, and I'm trying to be patient myself, because I know I can't do everything all at once. But that's what I'm really looking forward to.
So our job is participation and patience, and sharing our stories with you, so that you can get that individual relationship and connection. So that's the challenge I make to all of you at Temple Emanuel, is even though it's summer, it's time to come out and get involved, be engaged, join us for Shabbat and any other activities we've planned. So what are some of the first things you'll do? We know on the 1st of July is your first Friday night Shabbat. It is July 1st. It's Rabbi Charlie's first day of work at Temple Emanuel. It's also a holiday weekend with the 4th of July. But for all of you that are in town, we would love to have you join us and welcome Rabbi Charlie as he leads our first Shabbat service, as he begins his time with us. But tell us, after that Friday night, where will you spend your time? How will you fill your days?
Well, a big part of it is, that first weekend, it's celebrating Shabbat and celebrating the 4th of July. I will be spending a lot of time, hopefully, getting to know people. I'll be looking for opportunities to do lunch or coffee. I'll be looking to get to know the staff. What a wonderful and amazing team that's here at Temple Emanuel. And to be able to develop not only that working relationship, but also that personal relationship with the staff will be really important. And they've been nothing but amazing to me already. I got to learn the systems. I got to learn, even the Friday night Siddur, I think, is a different Siddur. Understanding the rhythms of the congregation. Rabbi Mark has been giving me a lot of information. I'll be meeting with some committee chairs a little bit in advance. I'll be meeting with some committees, in that throughout July. So getting a sense of Temple Emanuel's calendar year, and I'll be looking for to really try to lay the groundwork. I'll be doing a lot of doing. Right, from leading services. I don't even know if I'll be teaching a summer class, but that's certainly a possibility. I know we'll have some good study on Shabbat morning. I know that I'll be working with Becky on thinking about the religious school year and putting things in place. I'll be doing a lot of preparation to make sure that we're all set for the high holidays, the Yamim Noraim, and I know that I need to spend a lot of time with our soloist, just so we can develop that rapport and go through melodies and help me to familiarize myself with everything that is Temple Emanuel. Meeting with board members, meeting with not only leadership, but again, getting to know the whole of the congregation. So I've got a lot going on. It'll be really busy. It'll be a little bit overwhelming, but I have every confidence that it will be filled with blessing and holiness and mistakes and all of those things and more.
And our job is patience.
If you can.
We can. And as a side note, the calendar meeting is not one of my favorite meetings.
Well, here's the thing. Perspective for the whole congregation. The logistics are not always the most fun.
Right.
But the logistics allow us to really make things happen. It allows us to know what to prepare for. And so, even though it is not fun, per se, that is also, it is holy. And the leadership should certainly know. And the whole congregation should appreciate the leadership for putting these moments together, because these are the moments where the congregation comes together.
You are correct. It's a lot of planning. Tell us what makes you smile.
Oh, life. Honestly, there's so much that makes me smile. From, everyone's going to come and try, to tell me one now, but a good joke does make me smile. But also seeing people that I know, seeing people that I have an opportunity to get to know. Right? A lot of people make me smile. I really am a people person. My family often makes me smile. Foibles and mistakes sometimes make me smile. Not in a mean way, right? But in a way that offers understanding, because I too have probably made a lot of those mistakes as well. And so there's a real sense of understanding. I smile I smile at the world in a lot of ways, because the world has so many experiences for us to challenge us, to enjoy, to celebrate. And so I want to take advantage of those moments. I'm really a big gratitude person. Even before January 15th, I always taught and preached, and y'all will probably hear a lot about this from me, that sense of trying to find things in life to offer thanks for. Prayer for me, even for people who aren't sure what they think about with regard to the divine, or what their relationship with God, or even if they have doubts whether or not there is a God. Everybody can come together and offer that sense of gratitude and offer that sense of thanks and appreciation for the blessings that we have in our lives. And so a lot of things make me smile. And I will say amongst the things that make me smile most of all is probably Adina and Leah and Michal. They are precious to me.
They are. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to get to know Adina and Leah, and I see that. Well, it would only be appropriate for me to say, we know what makes you smile, but so that we are prepared and patient, what makes you upset? What upsets you or irritates you, so that we know how to work with you?
Wow. What upsets me? Some of the things that upset me the most are probably things like disagreement for the sake of disagreement. Things that upset me are when people who are on the outskirts of a community are not welcomed in, or are not extended that hand. Things that upset me are when people tell me, right, about how they tried to participate, right, and they felt like they were shut out. Things that upset me are the challenges and difficulties of life that upset everybody. And while it's upsetting, I consider it to be an honor and a privilege that members of Temple Emanuel would give me the opportunity to support them through those moments and through those challenges and through those difficult times. Whether we're talking about really global, huge, serious issues, or whether we're talking about a personal crisis. The one thing that I'm certainly well aware is that each individual has their story. And people will make comparisons and say, oh, well, my challenge, my difficulty isn't necessarily as bad or as serious as somebody else. And I like to try to show that your challenge, your difficulty, is yours. It's not called a challenge for no reason. And so that idea that I and we as a community can help people through those moments, that's something that is, I look at that as a sacred duty and something that we want to continue to strive for. Again, not that I as an individual or we as a community aren't going to make mistakes. When there's an inability to forgive, when the opportunity to forgive is there, that can also be challenging and upsetting for me as well. And there's obviously a lot more. I'm not going to say that bad beer, upsets me, but it's just not something that I'll necessarily choose to drink.
Understood. Well, going back to January, the incident, as you call it.
Yes.
If you had to summarize your takeaway from that, the incident, the life lesson that you're taking as you move forward in your life and speaking with others in being our rabbi and serving as with pastoral care to people. Is there one overriding takeaway that you have?
There's actually a lot of overriding takeaways. But first, I want to say that how appreciative I am of Rabbi Mark and the congregation for coming together and having a vigil that night. For so many people who were a part of the healing service that I did for the community, and it turned out to be a lot more than just the Colleyville community. It was seen in a very broad way, and for so many in Winston-Salem, and for so many for the Temple Emanuel community, to be there, to be with me, to be with us in that moment. It really means the world, right? And all the love and support that we've received, it matters. And some of the things that have been amongst the biggest takeaways is that, look, I want to have conversations with the security team. I want to make sure that our congregation, right, the Temple Emanuel congregation and community, can be prepared. God forbid, right, we're not expecting something to happen. We don't take CPR because we think we're going to have to use it. But we want to make sure that we can be prepared if there's a crisis. And that's not just a gunman. In case there's severe weather, in case there's a fire, in case there's a medical emergency, we want to make sure that we are prepared as a community to handle that kind of a situation, whatever it might be, so that we can keep our community safe. At the same time, one of the big takeaways for me is that we can do that and still be hospitable at the same time. We can love the stranger. We can extend that welcome, because you never know what someone is going to walk into the building, for what reason they're going to come into this sacred space, into this sacred community. And the vast majority, 99.99% of the people who are going to come in want to know that they can be accepted, want to know that they can belong, and they can feel that sense of belonging in the community. And so that sense of hospitality is so important. And one more piece is that this incident has also made, I guess, two more pieces. On the one hand, it's a balance. On the one hand, you have this idea that multi-faith relationships, and in addition to important ties within our community, within our congregation, that is so very important. We also have to, and it helps to have relationships outside of our community, because we live amongst others, right? Abraham was considered the first Jew, and he was around a lot of different other peoples, and he actually was able to negotiate and work with those other peoples. We have to be able to do the same. Those multi-faith networks and communities are very, very important. And they need to be important before something bad happens. You need to be able to support one another in difficult times. But you get to know someone, you build relationships by opening that door and extending that warm welcome, celebrating together, finding opportunities to share stories. And at the same time, Kol Yisrael Aribim Zeh B'Zeh, all of Israel is responsible for one another. And that while those multi-faith relationships are on the one side, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to be a strong community. We have to have strong ties and relationships. We have to know one another And so for those of you who, if you've ever been to a service now or in the future, and there are people that you don't know, that is a great opportunity. If you've had the opportunity, if you've never taken advantage of the opportunity, to invite someone maybe you're just starting to get to know over for a Shabbos dinner, right? Or to go out to lunch after Torah study. Or you just meet somebody at pick the group, at a brotherhood meeting, at a sisterhood meeting. Whether it's young adults or any age, right? There's so many different groups that are a part of this community. And you meet somebody that you don't know. Well, maybe go out for coffee, right? Get to know the members of this community. And that helps us make more real that idea that all of Israel is responsible for one another. That whether you're Jewish or not, if you're a part of the Temple Emanuel family, that you are a part of the Temple Emanuel family. And you belong here in this space with these people. And we'll celebrate together, and we'll mourn together, and we'll be able to support and rejoice each other throughout our lives.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And I'm sure there's a whole lot more. But let me ask you, are there any questions that you want to ask me, representing Temple Emanuel, before you officially begin here?
I don't have anything specific right now. I got a chance during the interviews to ask a lot of the basic questions, and I've learned a lot. And I think that what I want to ask of you, and ask of Bill as well, right, as he becomes the next president, can I keep asking questions? Because I will have so many questions about the workings of the congregation, about your background and your life. And so if I know and can have confidence that I will be able to, that I'm not going to run out of questions, that I'm not going to use up my allotment, so to speak, that would be incredibly valuable to know. And if I can ask that not only of you, but all of you as well, it would mean a great deal, because I'm really looking forward. There's so much I know that I don't know, and so in this forum, I just want to state to all of you, and especially to you, Hilary, that I've got a lot of questions, but I don't know what they're going to be just yet.
We will give you unlimited access. How's that?
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Well, as we wrap up, is there a final message you want to give to our congregation as you're visiting here in Winston and envisioning you and your family making this your home?
Well, there's one piece, which is that the beard that I have now, which, yes, it is itchy. I only do beards to go along with the Jewish calendar. So I think Rabbi Mark might have an Omer beard right now. I've got an Omer beard during the 49-day count. This is something that I do. So when you see me in July, I will not have the beard. So don't expect it. So that's one small
Okay, so
thing.
I have to add, though, we just did a photo shoot.
Yes.
With your beard.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so
All right.
I usually keep my beard. I like the beard until it gets annoying. But I will. I usually will keep the beard twice a year during the 7 weeks of the Omer and during the 3 weeks leading up to Tisha B'Av, which is the saddest day of the Jewish calendar. And it's very much a part of who I am during those times of year. So it's very appropriate that it's in the photo shoot.
Well, good.
And in the pictures. And at this, in terms of a message for the congregation, I would say that I am looking forward to falling in love with y'all more than anything else. the way that I look at life and I look at my purpose and the way that I try to live, I had an opportunity to focus my life on a lot of different communities. And I mean, I was working on poverty, hunger, homelessness issues, civil and human rights, before I became a rabbi. And when I became a rabbi, I knew that it was the Jewish people and the Jewish community that I wanted to focus in on. And so I do that with a whole heart. I do that with great love. I strive, and I really, really try to be a mensch as I go about that process. I try to be the best version of myself. And that's something that I will continue to do, working with Temple Emanuel. I can't wait to get to know y'all. I can't wait to fall in love with you. And it is such an honor and a privilege for me that y'all have selected me to be your next rabbi. And I will do my best to live up to, I know I'm not going to be able to meet those expectations, but I'll do my best to live up to them. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Rabbi Charlie. And I'll wrap up by asking if you've decided what socks you're going to wear on your first Shabbat service with us.
Of course not. I have absolutely no idea. But I'm looking forward to finding out too.